Ahoy, gentlemen! It's a little punch,
Edelman.
little punch, pop, pop, pop,
Got my coffee here.
little
Ready
energy.
to carry this thing.
Is it Friday? It is Friday.
It is Friday.
Yeah.
Damn! For some reason, this day has
Weekend.
big Sunday energy. For some reason, I thought it was like Sunday which is kind of my Monday. Big Monday / Sunday energy on today's day. I didn't go and get a coffee because I convinced myself it was Sunday night, and for some reason, like, you're not gonna be staying up late tonight. Sunday night,
Hey,
you
go
know.
to bed.
You
You
get to
gotta
bed
go to
at
bed.
Fuck it, now we stay up all night playing video games.
Get to bed at 9:30. I hear that's the new 2 a.m.
I fall asleep whenever I want, Kevin Byer, sometimes at 6 p.m., and then I wake up at 2 in the morning. And that's just the way she goes. And your captain. Great. And Brandon Lynch they're all here. You'll have to take my word for it, I guess.
I will say a thing.
Thank you. That's a good
My
name.
name is Brandon, and I'm here to say we don't need sound from these two motherfuckers anyway.
Boom.
Sorry, I didn't I wasn't aware that we were jumping into it there. I was distracted with something else. My apologies.
Always.
It's porn. He was watching porn. I could tell by the glint in his eye.
Yeah. I mean, he was
And the
at his
fact that
computer, and it was muted.
Now he's
so-
got both of his hands above behind his neck
Mhm.
to be like, no, these were nowhere near where they shouldn't be.
No, sir.
Especially
What
in the
is
middle
that
of a video
rising
call.
from the bottom of
Yeah.
the frame?
Wait a minute. How is that laptop holding itself up? That iPad.
There you go.
He's panning up just like the end of Cowboy Bebop. I finished Cowboy Bebop today. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Talking Reckless is a podcast about many things. So many things. Anime, politics sometimes, occasionally video games. There's my phone, cooking.
Movies? Can we talk about
Movies?
movies?
We
I
talk
brought
about
a movie
movies,
today.
TV shows.
I haven't seen that movie, unfortunately.
Mhm.
I was trying to make time for it today, but I did not manage to sneak in Mortal Kombat before the
No.
podcast.
I hear it's great.
That's fair.
I didn't hear it's great, but I've heard it's not terrible.
I will say it is exactly what it needed to be and not one sliver more.
Well, there you go.
I would expect that it is like Brando says, exactly what it needs to be. As someone, I watched the second John Wick movie this week.
Mhm.
Fine. Fine.
I've only ever seen the first one. Now I've seen the first and the second, and I imagine that is a lot like what Mortal Kombat's going to be.
Yeah, a little bit. There are some similarities for sure, such as the lore is deep and complex and damn near unfollowable.
Are we in like video game lore? Is it? Did
well,
Earthrealm lose the last
so-
9 tournaments and this is the
yes.
10th? And
yes, a lot of the setup is the video game lore, but there's definitely some rearranging that they've done to kind of answer the question: why are these human people capable of throwing a hat like a frisbee and fireballs?
wait, do we really get
Well,
a
I mean-
like
Yeah.
in lore reason for the razor?
Yep, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So it's the
That's,
same.
Kung
It's the
Lao.
same reason for all of them.
Yeah, Kung Lao. Kung Lao is
yeah.
like kind of the main dude in this, isn't he? There's there's like no
no.
Johnny Cage, no
What?
no Luke.
The-
I guess there is a Liu Kang, but
The
sort
main
of
dude
not.
is kind of an audience stand-in. Like the main character is someone who's not in Mortal Kombat, but
Or
takes
will he be?
maybe he will
Ermac
eventually
or
be.
something.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't even say Liu Kang is like the main Mortal Kombat. I think he's the best. He's positioned as the best one, but from a character standpoint, certainly not one that gets a lot of focus.
Like bet most highest chance to win the tournament.
Yeah.
Liu Kang.
Like he shows up to without getting too into spoilers and everything. He shows up to the training and is clearly the fucking man.
Everyone's
So
like, oh shit,
that guy can fucking throw his hat like a fucking saw boomerang.
Son Goku.
I just can't believe that
That's
there's no Johnny Cage punching Goro in the nuts. Like, that's not what I want from my Mortal Kombat.
That's fair. Kung Lao. Sorry,
Yes,
everything
Kung
I
Lao.
just said.
Kung Lao
I meant
throws the
Kung
hat.
Lao.
Liu
Yes.
Kang is the
Liu
like,
Kang. Liu
the-
Kang's
the
more of the
Bruce Lee looking dude.
yeah. He's more of the wise. He's like the exposition guy.
Mm.
He gives you the deets on the tournament and
I've lost 9 of these. Take it from me.
yeah. No, Kung Lao is the one that seems like he can fucking wreck shop.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's I'm trying to remember back to Mortal Kombat 10, which no, can't be. Isn't there
do
like
it.
old and young versions of themselves eventually in that?
Yeah, we haven't really got into any time stuff throughout this movie, and well, I decided why I don't want to say too much.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough. It
There is implications of characters that we have not met that they are aiming the sequel in a direction. I will say that.
got it. But they're definitely, this is not the game universe. They're
No.
I guess
Well,
knowing the game universe, you can kind of know who knows, but
It's kind of like a lot of the characters have the backstories they have from the game.
yeah.
So this it just seems like a reboot. It's like the Mortal Kombat tournament exists. The rules are the same, but we are kind of taking a different approach to everything else around it.
Any you know what? I don't even want to. I was gonna ask about characters, but that's maybe a little spoiler heavy.
I'll give you like the main cast.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna ask if did Shao Kahn show up? Any Shao Kahn or like weird otherworld gods?
Shao Kahn is the
he's got the mask.
Soul Stealer.
Yeah, he's got like the mask that covers this part of his head. Looks
Sure.
like fangs. He's like the big bad behind the big bad.
I'll leave him up to Discovery.
Okay.
Not a yes or a no, but I will say kind of the main Earthrealm people are Liu Kang,
Or Kung Lao.
and Kung Lao.
Oh, and Kung Lao.
Yeah,
Jax.
Jax, Sonya, our little character stand-in, which is Cole and Kano.
Kano.
Yeah.
Who shoots? I saw him shoot a laser beam out of his eye in the trailer, didn't I?
Yes,
Great.
probably.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that this week and have some thoughts.
Yeah,
It
there's
sounds
some good fatalities, like good fatalities you'll remember from the game. There's some good, like some chuckle-worthy, just like game Easter eggs, and some really good music drops with the theme. Really good or really bad. It's a really thin line.
Yeah,
with a lot of that stuff.
like
For
the
me-
first Mortal
for
Kombat
me,
movie.
excellent.
Thin line.
Yeah.
One man's trash. Yeah, it's dope. Where did you watch that? I can't. It's not on HBO Max. I couldn't find
You
where
have to buy it. Like it's early access. Like
on.
it's Amazon Prime, I think, is where I ordered it from.
Okay, yeah, I've got
But
that.
yes.
Yeah, you can get it there. It's on Cineplex Store too, and I think Google Play has it also. So
Got it.
Google Play is migrating over to YouTube though, so be ready for that.
oh,
Weird.
cool, that makes sense.
That's where I watched all of Cowboy. You know, all of Cowboy Bebop is on YouTube, except for the last episode, apparently. That's how
Gotta
they
pay
get
for
you.
that one.
That's how they fucking get you.
It's like the DLC from fucking Asura's Wrath.
Yeah. Oh, don't you even. Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, finished it up today over the old anime podcast. You can go check that out over at apparently weebs.ca doesn't always work, so maybe just go to
Testing it right now.
so if you click it from the Twitch chat, it won't work. If you type into certain browsers, it won't work, but sometimes it will work. It's a poorly designed website by yours truly, so you can always find it
Can confirm weebs.ca on Google Chrome works like a charm.
If it doesn't work, though, just go to patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast. You can find all that there. The world's premier anime podcast.
It just worked for me.
Hell yes.
I think we've
'Cause you're a
solved it. I think
weeb.
it works for everyone now.
It's because we
What
know
with me and Andy
Kyle messaged
testing
me
it out.
yesterday.
I also tested it. It does work.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Will
go.
not
3
work
for
from the
3.
Twitch chat, though, which I don't know.
Sounds like a Twitch problem.
It might be. It might be. How's everybody's weeks been? Kevin, we haven't seen you in some number of podcasts, possibly.
Yeah, it's been I think 2 weeks or so, maybe.
What is time?
My
What is
God.
time? Yeah.
Well, we didn't do one
That's
last
not that
week.
bad.
We didn't do one last week, and were you on the one before?
No, I think I've been 2 weeks off.
Wow.
Yeah, because the last thing that I talked
Unprecedented.
about on the show was finishing up Octopath. And
Right.
that was about
I
2
was
weeks
there
ago.
for that one.
Which you streamed yesterday, so I
Yes.
questioned the validity of this finishing.
Time as well.
Mhm.
Week's been good. We had like the busiest week ever at work, which I mean, I don't understand how it just keeps getting busier and busier and busier.
World slowly opening back up. Actually,
Yeah, but
people are
we-
just getting tired of it and saying fuck it.
We are essential services, so we never shut down. We never slowed down.
But now all the non-essential hoes, people I don't know what you use hoes for, building.
Every hoe is essential.
Yeah,
That's
building
right.
weed grow ops and stuff.
We do sell to a bunch of groweries. Yes, that is
There
true.
you go, yeah. Spring's coming. People probably getting their plants ready. They need hose.
There you go. But to put it in a little perspective that people can understand of how busy my week has been, on an average day, we'll take between about 250 and 275 calls. On Monday, we did 481.
Wow.
Christ. At what point do you just start hanging up on half of them?
I don't know. I almost hung up on someone today because he was being just an asshole for no reason, but we made it through. We made it through it.
Customer service jobs can suck my... Couldn't do them.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to learn how to do.
There's not a
lot of
take.
Politics and knowing how to talk to people like on a very basic level.
Mm-hmm. You have to like turn your brain and kind of your pride off sometimes and just go into like robot mode and be like, the shell of Brandon will answer these questions. The brain of Brandon is off to do something else momentarily.
Apparently Mortal Kombat is free on HBO Max in America.
Yes, it is.
God,
we do not have such a
damn
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Just another thing.
Don't those magical internet box thingies have something where you can just be like, yo, I swear I'm in the Americas now?
Oh, you don't gotta worry about me. I'll make my way to that Mortal Kombat tournament. I'll find my way to Earthrealm. Outer Realm?
I think it's Outer World.
Outer World.
Outer World?
Outworld, not Outer.
Outworld.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There are a bunch of realms. There's like 4.
It's only two featured in this film.
Yeah. Well, we gotta wait till we go for the Shang Tsung and somebody I can't remember team up. The Deadly Alliance. Shang Tsung and bald dude shoots skulls. Quan Chi.
Quan Chi.
Yes. Is Quan Chi in this movie?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, good.
I'm not gonna tell you bad guys. I won't tell you. I'll give you one bad guy. Sub-Zero's in it.
Oh, he's a bad guy? Whoa.
What do you mean Sub-Zero's a bad guy?
I mean, he started as a bad guy, but...
In the lore, he is a bad guy. In Mortal Kombat lore, he is part of the Lin Kuei.
But he immediately gets killed and replaced by his brother, who is not a bad guy.
Well, that I'm not going to get into in its proximity to this movie. But they introduce him the same way this game, the movie introduces him, which is a rival to Scorpion. They set that all up in scene 1.
Where does the spear come from? Does he throw the spear? Does the spear come out of his sleeve? Does it shoot from his... I assume Scorpion has his traditional... his iconic... Get over here.
Yeah, I don't want to get too spoilery, but it's a lot more like an arrowhead on a rope.
Okay, all right. It doesn't seem like Scorpion is going to take the mask off and just be a skull breathing fire under it at any point. It's maybe not.
Let's not go too far.
Okay, great. Great. No further questions. No further questions, Your Honor.
I'm going to say that the potential is there, but won't confirm or deny.
Kevin, what you been up to, my man? What you been playing?
Well,
what were you doing in Octopath yesterday?
The better question is, do I want to start angry or do I want to end angry?
It's a question
All right,
I ask myself every night.
Let's start with the anger. So I'm playing Octopath Traveler. I have beaten all 8 of the stories. I have unlocked the post-game dungeon, which isn't really a dungeon per se. It's more of like a series of boss battles, so like a boss rush kind of thing. So let me just explain how much I hate this design of this dungeon, quote unquote dungeon. There's 8 boss fights that you have to do before you unlock the final super boss. You can only save when you enter the dungeon.
One of those.
At no point between the fights can you save. At no point between the fights can you exit the dungeon to save. At no point in this trek can you do this.
Iron Man mode.
This might be a running theme this show.
So the first time I did it, it took me about 2.5 hours to kill all the 8 bosses and then to wipe to the eventual super boss.
That's what my mug says.
I literally
World's most super boss.
the first time I fought the
Eventual
end
super
boss, I managed to do a grand total of 0 damage before I got killed.
It's just like some mechanic that you didn't understand, or
it was a mechanic that I did not anticipate, and I was definitely underleveled compared to what I am currently leveled at, and am still getting smoked. So I was level 50 for the whole team of boats in there when I did it the first time. Did 0 damage. Figured out what the initial mechanic was in the fight. Went back through this last stream here on Thursday. Leveled up all my people to level 65 at least. I had minimum levels of 65 on everyone. I went through like an hour of menuing, like theory crafting how I wanted to build my team, putting all the perks where they needed to be, equipping all the gear where it needed to be. And then it took me an hour and a half to get through all the 8 pre-boss fights, and then got into the boss fight.
okay.
Got through the first initial section, started doing some damage to the boss, felt pretty good.
This is the run.
And then second mystery mechanic shows up.
Phase 2.
That wipes me again.
Well,
Fuck.
So, and the sick part is I know this is going to be one of those boss fights where, because it tells you, and this is, I guess, kind of spoilery, so if you plan on getting into the Octopath post-game dungeon, maybe skip for a minute or two. But it tells you right when you're heading into this fight that, hey, you got to break your 8 people into 2 teams. It's never done this before in the game. You've always had your team of 4, and you can use that team of 4 the whole time. And it tells you, okay, you got to break it into 2 teams. There's going to be 2 teams doing this fight. I'm like, okay, so I have my main team in there doing phase 1 or whatever. And phase 1 part 1 wipes me. Figure out the mechanic for phase 1 part 1. Figure out the mechanic for phase 1 part 2 in the process of getting wiped.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just see it where however long this boss fight is, I'm anticipating at minimum 3 different phases, most likely 4 is what I'm thinking. And I can see every time that I get a little bit further in this fight is going to be between 2 and 3 hours of playtime, just to see the next thing that is going to wipe me because it's some ridiculous mechanic that they haven't had in the game before.
welcome to JRPGs.
And is now fucking. I mean, most JRPGs that I've played before have at least had a save point. I would not mind at all if I could save right before that boss. But the fact that there's an hour and a half of boss fights before I could even attempt to bash my face
you used
against
to have
the
to like
wall.
find a literal. You used to have to like go back to town. I'm gonna sleep in the bed to save.
Yeah, that's all fine. Like old
you're not
RPGs,
saving
you
in
could
between
totally
bosses
save
in
between- You could
Final
leave a
Fantasy
dungeon.
2.
You could leave a dungeon and save if you wanted to, and then the fights that you had cleared, the boss fights you had cleared, would stay cleared.
That was kind of the thing about, I forget which Persona 4 maybe or something. All the Personas, any JRPG ever, it seems, where you will inevitably just hit a boss that one-shots you, and you have to die to it, and then learn what you need to do differently next time, and reload and do it again. And I fucking hate that. Like,
And yeah, it's like I say, if I could save right before the fight, so that these learning sessions would be 30 minutes to an hour each time, then I would be totally fine with it. But the amount of time in my head, this is probably like 50 more hours of playtime unless I look up a guide.
You should.
And I don't want to look up a guide because
No, you should do it. The game has made you mad. It doesn't earn your respect. You should just look it up.
I haven't looked up I've looked up 1 or 2 things in the 70 hours I've played this game, and it's felt so good. And the only things I've looked up are how to find certain things that are very, very obscure, like the hidden,
like the strats for the post-game boss dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Once you break the seal, that's all I'm saying.
It goes against how I wanted to play the game, but the fact that it's so fucking overtuned compared to the rest of the game, it's like, I guess I'm gonna have to look up a guide, because doing it without a guide is gonna be flat out impossible.
I'm firmly on team. Show me all the boss's health bars right when I get there.
Yeah, and if preferable, what move they're gonna do before they do it, just so I can like, oh, he's doing fireball, huh? Okay, great. I know what to do.
See, I'm already expecting. I think that the boss has like a set rotation. I'm willing to bet that every move is the same in the cycle. So
what if it's not?
my next time through, I'm like writing down moves. All right, turn 1, dude's gonna do this. Turn 2, he's gonna summon this thing. Turn 3, he's gonna do this.
You're gonna go in next attempt and see a move you've never even seen before. It's just gonna wipe you immediately.
Probably. Fuck.
I still remember when that gorilla got up after I cut his head off. I almost stopped playing Sekiro.
Moment of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like one of the mechanics was the boss has an ability that gives you every debuff in the game. It sprays this ability and you get 7 or 8 debuffs on you all at once. So my pre-boss planning was to make sure everybody in my all 8 people
not get hit by that.
have learned this one ability that one of the job classes has that increases your resistance to resist all negative effects. So I'm like, sweet, I got myself a great ability that I can put on all my characters that'll mitigate this one move. And then the second time through, every time it did this move, I hit maybe 1 or 2 status effects on 1 or 2 party members.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's like 90% mitigation is basically what it did. So I was feeling really good. I was really pumped going into this fight, and then second just wipe me mechanic shows up, and I guess I get wiped.
Well, one new attempt every Thursday. Stream an attempt, and if it wipes, well, see you next week.
Yeah, that's right.
Until either you beat the game or we get old and die.
Fucking uninstall. See, this is why you need physical copies of games, because if I had a physical copy of this game, I could destroy it.
Yeah.
And then I could feel good about myself for a moment before I realized I destroyed the game and I need to buy a new copy.
Destroying the game is, in fact, beating the final boss.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Like, you continue to exist, and it does not.
Yeah. I mean, if the game has some sort of thing on it that says boss is now dead, if I destroy the game disc, then it's the same thing.
The next Kojima game, you can beat the third boss by waiting 2 in-game days or snapping the fucking disc.
So yeah, that's my my Octopath.
Tell us a happy story, Kevin.
The happy story, and it's not even that happy. It's just less sad.
Story of my life. Mood, as the kids say.
I started playing Stellaris.
Oh wow! Did that there was a new expansion like very recently, right?
There was, but I am playing base game because apparently there are like 100 expansions to that game, and they're all still relatively expensive. So I was originally going to wait until it goes on sale, but then I did my taxes, and Papa Trudeau is a great person for people working at home right now, so I used some of my tax refund, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna pick up this game, and I've got about 2 hours ish in, and I've never played a 4X game that's in real time. Everyone I've ever played before has been turn-based. Like I don't know about new Civilization games, but definitely the Civilization games that I've played have all been turn-based.
Yeah, they're still turn-based.
Yeah, like Master of Orion game series, those were all turn-based, the ones that I played.
Galactic Empire is the kind of turn-based version of Stellaris almost.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen Galactic Empires played. My old roommate used to play it a lot. And he's the one who got me into this. He's been playing it for the last little bit and just been like, hey, you're playing Stellaris, you should check it out. And it's been on my radar like since it released, and it's just never really lined up that I have bought it and played it. So I'm having fun with it so far. It's extremely complicated.
Yeah.
It has way more systems than I would have ever expected. But going through them, I realized that it makes perfect sense to have all these systems. To give you an idea, they have I have enabled full tutorial because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And one of the first things is like, okay, your F1 key will bring you to this menu. Your F2 key will bring you to this menu. And you can click on the same menu on the left-hand side of the screen. But when you click on the menu on the left-hand side of the screen, there's like another 5 or 6 menus that you can't get through the F keys because there's just not enough F keys. So they just had to have other things there that you have to actually just click on in order to to get to the menus.
And it's like it's full of like highlighted keywords that you'll click on, and that'll open a window and be like, well, this means this. And is that the one? Is Stellaris the one where you're designing, or you have the option to design like every ship block by
yes,
block?
I have not got into that part yet, but I hear that the ship designer is very, very complicated as well. Everything is very complicated. I
cubes.
Still don't understand how to really get my population to work for me.
Yeah,
it's very, very confusing.
Incentive program.
It's been too long, and I can't remember the difference between Stellaris and Civ, honestly, probably, and like all those games.
But yeah, like there's like obviously like race customization things, and I started looking through that when I first started the game. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna customize my own race. This is gonna be great. And I got like 5 minutes into reading all of these things that I could customize, and be like, I don't know what any of this means. I'm just gonna play the game. Maybe once I learn what some of these things mean, like my bureaucracy is 5% better with this one class. I'm like, great. What does bureaucracy do?
Some of them will just give you a word. It'll just be like, these people don't breed. These are machine people. They don't breed. Have fun.
Yeah.
Or
See them and I both.
Yeah, there's I think they add a bunch. Well, I'm pretty sure they add a bunch of not only new races in the, I think it's called the Nemesis expansion, but you can also play.
I think that's the most recent one.
There is like an other capital O other faction, the like the barbarians in Civ kind of, and you can play as the other.
Oh shit!
The evil faction, quote unquote.
Crazy.
It's a cool game.
But yeah, I definitely, when the next like Steam summer sale is or whatever, when likely all of these expansions are going to go on sale, if I'm still playing it, I'll pick up a bunch of the expansions, because I've heard that there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that they put in the expansions. And then I am most definitely going to be looking for a Star Trek skin mod for it, so I can play as Star Trek versus, or as like Federation versus Klingon versus Romulans and shit like that.
Oh, that for sure exists.
Oh, for sure.
1000%.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Stellaris.
Yeah, a lot of fun so far.
How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing all right, buddy.
Yeah. What's been going on?
Not a whole lot. Just been doing nothing Monday to Friday.
Yeah, big move.
And then working my job on the weekends.
I talked. I don't know if you know this, Brando. I talked Andy into playing Destiny next season.
Oh fuck!
It begins.
Yeah, big time too. Like I'm absolutely jumping on board with it. So a lot of the new things sound cool. I'm excited about that new mod system. I'm excited because Vault of Glass is back, and I really want to run through that again. So
yeah, it's going to be
there's
different.
A time to pick
apparently,
up.
It's like Vault 1.5, or I suspect it's going to be Vault 2. I suspect it's going to be the same layout but different enemies, and they'll like, the Cabal took it over now or something.
Yeah,
but
it'll still be dope to go back to it, and yeah, it just that's kind of the one thing I was looking forward to getting to do at some point. So if it's coming back next season, that's when I'll jump on board.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, I'll probably be there too. As I said to you last time we talked, Eads, I rally the troops and I will be there. But
and I have faith that if Destiny is on in the household enough, that my roommate will eventually come around. Fucking might as well. I really enjoyed this last season. The exotics the new exotics they put in, I thought were really smart and like fun to use, and the like new quest content they're making is the best it's ever been. Which is not a super high bar, but at least the trajectory is in the right angle.
And at least they did better than Season of the Hunt by the sounds of it, because that sucked ass.
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah, but, season of the Hunt. Not. I mean, it didn't suck. You also had.
It sucked.
You also had the.
Played a lot of that shitty game.
My god.
You also had the like expansion content to do though as well. So like I sort of get why that first season might be a little bit less, because you have all the Beyond Light stuff to do too.
And it makes, and you're right, it totally makes sense. But it felt like something that they put in there because they were like, well, we got to do our first season of stuff along with Beyond. Like they shouldn't even have fucking bothered.
Fought
like,
this big enemy over again in the same place. Every day.
There is something to maybe be said about just have it whenever you launch a new expansion, to just have the first season be like
the expansion.
Season of Beyond Light.
Yeah.
like if you're stretched that thin, and especially with all the changes they made with stasis and stuff, like they were probably fucking like they were like, well, we got to do something. Like that's what it felt like. That's what Season of the Hunt felt like. Well, we got to do something. That's all that
all
season
hands
felt
on
like.
deck making an expansion.
it could
and then all of a
literally-
sudden they're like, oh, we need an actual season 11 too.
When Witch Queen got pushed back, they needed to add, I think, 3 more seasons to fill the time. So it literally could have been like, what are we gonna do for these 3 seasons? Looks like COVID's gonna slow us up. We need something. Season of the Hunt, whatever. The storytelling's getting okay though. Things are happening, Andy. Guardians are falling to the darkness.
Well, yeah, because it's dope.
Yeah, well, no, beyond stasis, there's like dark void. A Guardian was using void powers, but instead
that's a
of
problem.
light void powers, it was dark void powers.
Yeah, you can't do that then.
So I
That
wonder-
just seems.
I wonder if we're gonna get
Where were the police?
Yeah.
Zavala
Where was Zavala?
he was probably telling me the story. Fucking Guardian games.
I wasn't there, but let me give you the rundown.
Sitting there. I did the Nightfall this week is the Sepex Prime one where he does the sitting there screaming souls back to hell
Oh,
at
that's
the
a
end of
great
it.
one.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
ran it
great
probably
one.
30 times. It's screaming souls back to hell.
Just saying it with him by the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Destiny
I,
is continues to be cool.
Yeah, and even as we are like talking about it a little bit now, I'm excited for it. I know there's really not much I can do this season with it because it's flipping, but I'm despite it sounding like this season had some cool stuff, I'm almost glad I took it off because now I'm more excited to hit the ground running with the next one because like when that game grabs me, that fucking game grabs me. So I got to be very careful with what I do, and yeah, that might be the time to fire it back up again though.
I
I think
Sorry, go ahead, Brando.
I think the thing with me is also the schedule is getting a little more cramped coming out.
Yeah, games are coming out.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm already spending less time playing video games than I used to, mostly because I'm watching more movies. And I mean, it's an ebb and flow. Then all of a sudden, I stop watching movies and I play more games. But where I'm at right now, and I'm not doing like full evenings of playing video games or like count like full weekend, full 2 days off where I just never put the controller down.
Yeah.
And I know that I just bought Pokemon Snap. I bought it on the way home.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's probably not super long. I don't know. That first one.
No,
wasn't super
probably not.
long.
But I only have a week to do that before Resident Evil comes out, and then I only
Yeah.
have a week to do Resident Evil before Mass Effect comes out.
And did you get
somewhere in
Returnal?
there, Returnal exists. So
Yeah, it sure does.
I don't see a lot of time for Destiny, but at the same time, every now and then you want to do what you want to do, but then you see your 3 buddies playing Destiny, and you're like, well, guess I'm going over there.
Yeah, there's a lot
Maybe
of.
I'll just be the guy who's in chat with you guys, but playing different games for most of that.
It might be Warren.
also might be
yeah, Warren does it. The good news for Warren: sword that shoots a projectile, back in the meta. He's gonna be thrilled.
Oh.
It's not the one that he uses, but it's not exotic, so he can have another exotic on if he wants. Destiny, ask me about it. I've played enough at this point where I can think about like builds. I know, every piece of armor has 3 different types that you can equip different mods. I'm to the point where I know what type of armor I need for what mod to go with my particular build, and like I'm down to the point where I'm grinding Nightfalls for the same weapon I have to get better perks on it. I don't know when it happened, but I'm deep in Destiny.
That's a slippery slope.
Deep. I have every exotic now too, except for the raid specific ones, the ones you have to go and get. I have every other exotic, so which from having, I think I had 3 or something when we started playing Beyond Light. Because remember we were trying to do that. It was before Beyond Light came out. We were trying to do that raid, and we had literally no guns. And that dude was like, you might not be able to do this. I don't know.
Fuck that guy. We could have done it.
Yeah. Well, from then, whenever that was, to now, 4 months or whatever it's been, unlocked every exotic in the game. I don't even have a hunter, and I have all the hunter exotics. The armors, anyways. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of where I want to be on Destiny, which is like just skimming off the top of the water.
Yeah.
You come down in the little skiff plane that the Tailspin guys used to fly.
Oh, yeah.
You just touch down for a little while, kind of survey the area, but you don't dive under. You fucking
I'm never coming back
rev up the propeller and you get out of there.
I'm down in my big daddy helmet.
Yeah,
My diver suit.
clanking across the bottom of the sea.
I'm not coming up. What else? What else, Andy? Or did you? You didn't actually have anything, did you?
No, I didn't write anything down. That was just me being excited for Destiny. Is it? I haven't played any new games, so I just haven't had
We
any
played a bit
desire to do
of.
so. Really.
Have we not played some MLB The Show? We have, because I'm the king of
Oh
baseball.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we played lots. Yeah, I guess we played that. I haven't talked about that
Yeah,
yet.
why don't you pay a little honor to your liege, the king of baseball?
Talk about that. I think that game is pretty fun, but I only want to play it like when I'm playing against you or Warren or somebody
Yeah.
else. Like I don't want to play exhibition games. I don't want to play games online. I don't want to start my career. But like hopping into a game against one of you guys is a lot of fun. So that's what I've been getting out of that game.
I'm the exact opposite, where it's like I play that game, I do the Diamond Dynasty stuff usually for like 15-minute, half-hour chunks at a time, and then play a bunch of my career. And then someone is like, do you want to play a game against us? And I'm like, boys, we have so many better games to play against each other.
The baseball, like chess or the kind of like rock, paper, scissors aspect of it, trying to guess where the pitch is going to be, and then on the other side, trying to guess where you think the batter is going to guess the pitch is going to be, and that like the mental game, I think, is really fun.
And I guess maybe that's another thing, is that all the modes I play, you don't have the guest pitch mechanic, and I don't like the guest pitch mechanic, but I think it's kind of standard rule for online.
Yeah, default, I think, just defaults to quadrants. You guess a quadrant and a pitch type. There's another mode where I matched into an online game that had it, where it would like draw a target on, if you guess the pitch, it would put a target where the ball, where I guess you guessed the ball was going to be. And that really fucked me up, because anytime the target would appear, it's like a flash on the screen. You're just like, hit the hit button, and of course you miss.
Me and Warren played a few home run derbies against each other, and I think we played 3, or maybe I played 1 and played 2 with him. But I came out of the other end of those 3 feeling like I was doing literally nothing different, derby to derby. And sometimes I was the king, and sometimes I couldn't get a ball out to save my life. And I'm like,
yeah,
all I'm really doing is swinging with power swing over and over again.
The home run derby for me, and especially after I lost the first round, I had to sit there for 2 rounds while those guys finished. The home run derby to me is just a Mario Party game. Like I'm like, this is like whatever. I don't want to do this.
The Mario Party has a home run derby, which I personally feel like I have more control over how I'm doing than in the show.
Yeah, it's way better. I'd rather just play that one. And then after that, I get to play some other game that's different. It's not that again.
Yeah. But overall, I love the show. But it is weird that I go to the show, and maybe this is just because I played the show for 3 years, 4 years as a single player game, but it is operating with that side of my brain where it's like, oh, no one else is on, I'll play a little bit of my career or something. And then when people like jump on and they're like, oh, you want to play baseball? I'm like, I guess.
You actually actively follow baseball as well, which I'm sure factors in as well. Me, who doesn't give 2 fucking shits about baseball. It's like, let's go, boys, wrap it up.
Baseball is a sport. Out of all the sports I enjoy, baseball is a sport when people are just like, it's just too boring. I'm like, I can see it. I can see what you're talking about. There's nothing that makes me happier than on one of my days off where like the Blue Jays are playing at like 2. And I'm like, I might not even watch this game, but it's going to be on my TV, and it's just going to like set the tone for the day off, hearing the fucking bats crack and the warm up and the commentating and everything. And sometimes I might play my Switch while it's happening or do my dishes and everything. But it's just like, baseball's a great day off sport.
It's the sport I would want to go see live the most, personally.
Oh,
yeah. Baseball
Tremendous.
live is an absolute blast, because especially for how long it takes. Yes, yeah, that was.
We should.
When I'll just tell this since we're on it, but when Brad and I were in Texas, we were in Dallas, and our first night in Dallas, we got alarmingly banged up because we were just a little overexcited because I came down there from Thunder Bay. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. It was the first time we took a trip together. It was hot. It was awesome. We were in New City, and we just got like, it was bad. Like I threw an e-scooter into the street, and the next day we were supposed to go to the ball game, and when we both got up, I probably threw up about 9 times that morning. But we legitimately, like, I'd never been to an MLB game before, and this was exciting. We were going to go see the Blue Jays play while we were in Dallas, and we legitimately considered not going because we were like, we are too fucking sick to maybe do this. But we made it out there, and it was
three times.
It was the hottest day of the year ever.
God damn it.
Just melting in our seats. At one point, I was like, Andy, we just need to go take a walk, and we like walked around the diamond and watched some of it from the outfield and everything.
Yeah, and also too, just to add to the misery, like we hadn't eaten that day, and I was like super excited for a ballpark hot dog because you know it's a thing, and
the States.
they sucked. It was awful. I'm hungover as balls, starving. I buy this $20 hot dog, and it was absolute shit.
Dallas Stadium not
too.
known for its no Fenway Park.
Well,
I think it was supposed to be wrapped in bacon. How do you fuck that up?
Every ballpark has like signature hot dogs, like the Wrigley Field dog or whatever they're gonna call it based on their city, and they're always like every ballpark has the regular hot dog too, where you can get it and put whatever condiments on it and everything. But like those like big specialty dogs are real hit and miss. Like every now and then you'll go and you'll be like, oh my god, this is like a full meal, delicious thing all poured onto a bun, and then some of it'll be like, ew, this bun is like green from whatever sauce they put on it and like not supporting the weight of the meat, and like the banana peppers are like poking through the bottom and falling out.
We should go see baseball if it's an option this summer. I was gonna say last year. That's not right. 10 years ago when we went to that game was rad.
I don't think it'll be an option this summer. Nah. I don't think they'll be able to get the wheels on this thing turning.
No.
But
I might be double 4 months, they said. I got my poke. I don't know if I said that. I got my poke this week.
Hell yes.
My first poke of Pfizer. Pfizer gang. First poke was easy. No side effects other than I just love 5G now. I don't know what it is. So weird. A little tired for the first day, but other than that, nothing. Arm hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still me and Andy both are still a ways away, I think.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks at least.
Yeah, hopefully it gets going here. And the thing is, like, I guess Warren sort of didn't realize this. I kind of always knew you aren't like magically immune the second you get the first vaccine. It's like within 4 weeks, you might not die if you get sick. It might lessen the effects, but it's not like, well, I can't get COVID
like
anymore.
The flu, right? Yeah. Like you can still get the flu. It's just not going to knock you.
Actually, the flu,
out.
I was reading the flu disappeared apparently in COVID. The masks and precautions we have taken against the flu, this season's flu might literally have disappeared. It might not have been able to propagate. We might have beaten influenza
I heard
fighting
that
COVID, which is very funny. We'll get there one day. You play anything else, Brando? What have you played?
No.
I mean, the show?
The show Mortal Kombat, and I've watched more movies in the last week than when E3 comes by, I get super into video games, and on Oscar week, I get super into movies. So.
Oh yeah, what's the scuttlebutt from the Oscars?
This
is your beat.
Yeah, it was a weird show overall because they did it at Union Station in LA, not in their usual big amphitheater wherever it's usually held with all the seats. This was more like a small venue. Everyone kind of spaced out at their little tables instead of being in like essentially theater seating, right? Where they normally do it. It was as good as can be expected considering the movies weren't the bangers that they sometimes are because of COVID, and people's interest in it was super low because of COVID. But it was a pretty solid, unremarkable show until the very, very end, where Steven Soderbergh, who produced the show, obviously was looking for a big emotional moment, so did something unprecedented and took Best Picture and moved it up in the show. It always ends the show. Best Picture is always the last award given up. He moved it up in the show earlier by a few awards so that they could put Best Actor at the end, which was to many people a foregone conclusion that Chadwick Boseman would win for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Posthumously win.
Yeah, exactly. And they did all that, and then they trotted out what's his name, the Joker,
Joaquin?
Phoenix, because it is tradition for the winner of the prior year award to give it to the next winner, and he clearly did not want to be there. Was really having a tough time getting his head wrapped around what was being asked of him, and read the nominees very quickly and said, and the winner is Anthony Hopkins for The Father. Good night, everybody, because Anthony Hopkins was not in attendance. They faded to black off of a professional headshot of him, and it was about the most wet fart you could ever end an Oscar show.
It was probably a headshot from like 10 years ago too.
It was, yeah. He was definitely way younger than he is now. Not like Hannibal Lecter young, but like it looked like he was at least a decade younger in that picture. But I mean, wet farts, production-wise, inspired just chaos online. Like it was one of the most fun after Oscars Twitters to ever be a part of.
He apparently he wasn't. He was trying to video in, I guess, to the Oscars to give his acceptance speech, but
there's a lot of conflicting information.
Yeah.
Some people were saying that his co-host in that movie was supposed to accept the award also over Zoom because she was also not there. And then some people were saying that wasn't true. And then some people were saying he was trying to pre-tape something in the event that he won and the producers wouldn't let him. That seems weird, but that could also be true. Nothing, but it was just funny. Steven Soderbergh, a actual Hollywood director, obviously being like, you know how I can put my mark on this thing is let the people go home on the fucking big emotional moment.
Whoops.
And then it could not have been less emotional.
Hilarious.
Something new at the Oscars every year. Every year you think, I've seen the Oscars have screwed up in every way they possibly can, or like last year, done tremendously with the Parasite stuff. But every year you're like, what if this is just another show? What if this doesn't have the moment that literally everyone talks about? And every year they find a way to do it.
I think that Soderbergh is a genius, and you're a mark. I think you are. I think this was planned. Joaquin, you gotta like make this look bad. Have you seen like r/cringe on Reddit? Like we need some of that stuff. We need people to like suck at their teeth.
It's not reflecting well on Soderbergh is the only reason why I don't think it was planned.
The true heroes don't look for fame.
Exactly.
These are Dark Knight.
Because now people are mad that he changed the awards around. Because now, obviously, with hindsight being 2020, they're like, why would you change the awards around? The Best Picture was a great award and a good movie won it. And that's how it should have ended. And it's like, well, yeah, now you can say that. But
it was at least kind of a nice thought.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It was just one of those situations. Steven Soderbergh had too much faith in the Academy voters, and the Academy voters were not voting with their hearts and their
not
production.
Not this year, unfortunately.
Anthony Hopkins was tremendous in The Father. I fucking loved that movie.
Give me the back of the box for The Father. What's is he a religious father?
It is a dementia story. It's a man struggling with dementia, and it's very much shot from his perspective, so very unreliable narrator-y.
Got it. Say no more.
Very cool camera cuts where it's like he's looking one way and then he kind of turns the other way and he's not where he thinks he's supposed to be and stuff like that.
Yeah, that seems neat. I don't like crying when I watch films. Maybe I won't watch that. That seems sad.
Yeah, they kind of hold off to the very end. The very, very end, the last 5 minutes is rough, but most of it is some of it, like if you've ever had a member of your family with dementia, some of it you kind of laugh along to avoid the crying, where you're like, this is just silly and a situation that no person should be in. But if they're laughing it off, then I can laugh it off. But then, yeah, the end's rough.
I played a little bit of hot new video game Returnal. Played about an hour and a half. It is a third-person roguelite shooter with some Soma-esque narrative elements. I'm trying to think how many games I can relate this to. It's you are a lady in a spaceship who game opens, you crash on this planet, and you find out pretty almost immediately things are maybe not what they appear to be. And
sold.
Yeah, done. And you were thrown into this alien world that all the roguelite stuff, the loot mechanic is built into the game, built into the narrative, much like Outer Worlds. not that same. It's not Groundhog
Wilds.
Day. Outer Wilds. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that exact thing, but the
There's a reason why
justification-
you are coming back over and over again.
It seems there will be. The character is commenting on it in a way of the character is aware of it.
Or Hades or Rogue Legacy. Like
Yeah,
it's one
Hades
of those ones
is
where
actually
they
probably the perfect example.
where it's not just like now restart.
Yeah, no, there is there. It is in the narrative. Every time you restart, your character is like aware of it. Like, wow, this is weird. I don't really know what I think is going on. I don't know if I think it's on an alien planet. There's like some weird sort of like memories are tied to it in a way, and maybe she's just a crazy lady in a asylum or something. Not really sure. The actual playing of it, so I'm only an hour and a half in, and I'm still unlocking systems. But it is kind of that standard. You're going to run through this world. You're going to find some temporary items like guns and things that are only going to last the run. You're going to find some permanent unlocks that are going to make you more powerful permanently, which is going to progress you further and further. And theoretically, you're going to keep playing and get further and further. The world shuffles every time that you reset, and you are doing some really like light. The shooting is very auto-aimed. There's a huge reticle that takes up, I don't know, maybe like half an inch of your screen. Big for a reticle, and anything in that reticle will get hit because you are fast in this game. You are moving like Doom Eternal speeds, it feels. You are just flying, and you have a dash that you can hold it. Like any good dash, makes you invincible while you're doing it, and you can dash through the kind of bullet hell projectiles that these enemies are shooting towards you. You are leveling up a bunch of different things per run. There is I don't really understand how all of it works yet, but there's a weapon proficiency system, which is unlocking permanent upgrades for guns, I think. Like, I got something that anytime I have a carbine now, I have plus 20 health or something like that.
That's carryover stuff.
Yes, so anytime I find that carbine, I think I will have plus 20 health. You're also leveling up. There is a kind of a combo meter called Adrenaline, where if you do damage without getting hit, you'll build this adrenaline meter. It has 5 levels, and at every level you get a new effect. So like level 2 is you can see enemies through walls. They give you a little glow, and it'll highlight like weak points. There is a class of item called artifacts that you are getting. Those are the I'm going to find this in the run. It's going to disappear after, but they are modifying your build. So I found one that that gave me another life, for example. Found one that when you died, it just poof brings you back to life. And there's those type of artifacts. Some of them are like one use. Some of them are I haven't found one, but they've said it'll like permanently modify your abilities. And then you are using those abilities and those items to do these progressively more challenging enemies, I guess, where quite a few of them I've actually seen sort of 3 different types. There seem to be some that shoot these very slow kind of bullet hell dodging projectiles or dash through them. There is this like teleporting spellcasting fucker that I met who seems like he covers you in his sticky white stuff, which slows you down. And then there is like a bigger like boss type monster that I found once and then immediately died.
So only 3 enemy types.
So far, I am only an hour and a half in the game.
But you don't think you've beaten the boss?
No, I definitely made it to a boss because there's a health bar and it's like it has 4 health bars. It shows you a health bar and then has 4 pips above the health bar. And you're like, you fucker, that better not be enough. You get the bar down, full new one comes up. So yeah, made it through phase 1 of the boss, but very much seems like like Hades or any of these games. You kind of learn the attack patterns of the boss and when to dodge and when to not. And it seems really well made, and also the trimmings, the way it looks and runs, it is beautiful. It has so many particles, and it's all moving at 60 frames a second. And the HDR is absolutely gorgeous. The controller is doing it kind of locks the R2. It does that thing where you have a little bit of a pull on the bottom triggers, and then it like chunks down, and you only have
GameCube.
Yeah, exactly. You only have to pull to the click to shoot, which is really good because you can like. It's almost like on the Elite controller where you can like lock the throw of your trigger to be shorter because you only pull that trigger a little bit. So there's like you can just feather that thing, and it feels really good. They're doing really good stuff with the controller, where if you step into the rain, you can feel the rain, and I walked over something that I didn't see in game but felt in the controller. I was like, whoa, what was that? And backed up, and there's like a collectible on the ground that I would have missed had I not realized I walked over something with the vibration. Like, it's cool.
Controller's dope.
Yeah, that's my catchphrase this week. It's cool.
The runs are long.
It seems, yeah, I played an hour and a half.
I've heard you can't
two
save mid-run, so it seems like you're in for the long haul if you're going for it.
You can't save, but they, out of the gate, they're like, if you need to pause a run, use the rest mode. Just don't turn your PlayStation off.
Rest mode does not always work.
That's exactly what I was saying as I was reading that. I'm like, okay, I hope they fix this. But yeah, you cannot pause a run, which I don't know if I agree with. The runs are long enough. It feels like you maybe would want to pause them partway through. But again, that rest mode is supposed to be the pause. Right. We'll see. There's also an online component. I have no idea what it's doing. I haven't seen anybody online. I was interacting with an object where if you put enough currency into it, you would get something out. And that thing was filling itself up. I was just standing there, and currency, I wasn't putting any in, but currency was just filling it up in a way that I wonder if the other players maybe in their...
Maybe the online mode is just like some sort of community meter that you're trying to fulfill.
Yeah, or like, because it's... The whole theme of the game is like, you know, you are coming back again and again and again. You're like literally stumbling upon your own corpse is one of the very first thing that happens. And I wonder if, like, are the other players, because you all play the main character, obviously. You all play Selena. Are the other characters, the other players, Selena's in like other timelines or something? Like, am I going to see other players at another point and be like, oh shit, that's the main character in another timeline? I really wonder. There's something there. Because they ask you right out the gate. They're like, do you want to play online? I was like, yes, I do. But do not know what that means. So, Returnal. I'll have more to report.
How many runs have you done?
Still like two or three-ish, sort of.
Right.
One of them, a few of them, I just like, I fell into a hole. Whoops. But yeah, made it up to that first boss. It seems relatively easy to get to the bosses. It seems like the bosses will kind of be your sort of progress checks.
Right.
But the narrative seems really interesting. I have to see where it goes, but what I've seen so far is even in the context of this weird looping alien world, there's some pretty weird and out there stuff right off the bat. So it seems cool.
I think it's cool that we're getting. I don't want to use quality in the way that like to imply that Hades is not quality, because Hades is super, super, super quality, but a certain new console polish on a roguelike for the first time that I can remember.
Yeah, like a sense of scope, maybe. It feels, even though the levels are shuffling and stuff, like
bank for this thing.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, and it feels like there's a real sense of place, even though you've kind of seen maybe some configurations of the rooms before. There's one room with a giant floating black orb of like fluid in the middle that reacts as you get close, that I am obsessed with, and I'm sure it's something, but can't seem to make it work. Returnal.
Cool.
Take a quick break here, and we'll come back, do some news. See you on the other side of this musical break.
Are you a cop?
Are you a cop? Because you have to tell me if you are. I don't know if not answering, that probably...
World's most super boss.
Let's talk about some news here. Speaking of the world's most super boss, the CEOs of CD Projekt Red are apparently slated to receive.
Pump the brakes.
That segue was it was on theme at least.
Inaccurate, but perfect.
$6 million. They're each going to get, the two CEOs. Games director, he's going to receive. They're going to receive about $4 million. And they have nearly $30 million in bonuses set aside for the company, which pays out based on profits. And the Bloomberg story points out that it says average employees receive $5,000 to $10,000 each. The Bloomberg story points out that is the mean number, which is super fucked and skewed because there are they fuck with the numbers in a way where non-executives have very, very high bonuses to make it look like the average employee bonus is much higher than it is.
To, like the middle managers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But employees do also receive a smaller bonus, which I guess is something. And that's the end of that. That's the end of that story. Sold 13.7 million copies in the first 3 weeks, so huge financial success. Yeah, apparently they only gave about 30,000 refunds, which
Wow,
might as well be zero
nothing. Yeah,
compared
exactly.
to 13.7 million. So
it's also probably right from them, right? Like not including the Xbox refunds, PlayStation refunds.
I have no idea how that stuff works. I don't think you can buy it on the Sony store yet. I don't think you can buy.
No, well, you could, and people did, and then they took it down.
Yeah, I don't think it's up. I don't think it's since
not.
been put back, which that was months ago now. Microsoft is this is a real fast one here. Microsoft gonna match Epic's 1812 dev platform holder split, the same one that the I already said that. Same one the Epic Store has. You know, Steam, as far as I know, is still at 70-30. Except for, I guess you can negotiate better deals if you're one of the big players, but it's less and less enticing to be on Steam, it seems. The only downside is you have to use the Microsoft Store, which sucks. Oh boy, you guys remember our hate speech slider talk a few weeks ago? Who could forget?
Yes, absolutely.
Riot, yeah, Riot's trying to curb the hate speech slider. Riot's trying to make it redundant by recording voice chat, I guess, going forward in Valorant, which seems like a tall order. They're going to.
God, can you imagine being the person who has to listen through all that?
So they're going to attempt to record and analyze voice chat in order to find racist and hate speech. And
maybe like an algorithm kind of thing.
Well, in the story they say they're not sure how it's going to happen yet, but will most likely be automated. But man, especially like automated moderation over text is often super fucked, and everybody getting banned when they shouldn't be, and all this stuff. Like moderating. You
can't say penis in Rocket League.
Yeah, you can't say fuck from the Twitter app on Xbox. It doesn't let me screenshot. It doesn't let me like upload my screenshots to Twitter and say fuck in the tweet, which sucks.
Well, penis is not fuck.
Penis is not fuck. They also the Riot rep who's doing this interview gives I didn't pull it on the notes here, but it says like, oh, it's a very finicky thing because words could be taken out of context. Who knows? Yada yada yada. Which is like, there are some words that no matter the context, maybe we should not have in our online voice chat. Riot. Also, remember Riot at the center of some. What's the way to put it? Litigious legal doings with their sexual assault cases, trying to get plaintiffs to settle privately, and that came out as a big story, and then they walked it back. Nobody's reporting on it, but they are once again trying to get people to settle privately in their sexual assault and harassment suites. Riot seems like they fucking suck ass. Like all video game companies, apparently.
Maybe create some sort of sexual assault slider.
Yeah.
And turn it down.
Like the stories out of that company are like dudes ball tapping each other in the break room, like farting on one another, dude bro humor. I couldn't even imagine being a woman and trying to work in that. I guess you can't get ball tapped if you don't have balls. Doom Eternal.
Stay positive.
Yeah, hey, here's it's all positivity this week. Doom Eternal has added microtransactions in spite of their creative director Hugo Martin telling everyone, us, that the game would not have microtransactions, would have, quote, no store. That's not true. It does have a store. Here's
Hugo.
Here's Hugo Martin's quote.
I believed him.
He says, Eternal is a $60 game, not a free-to-play game or mobile game. We're giving you a complete experience with no store, just like you'd expect. Unlocking skins with XP is part of the experience. And now they have skin packs that you can get in there and buy if you want. 2 cosmetic packs are for sale right now. One of them is called the Series 1 cosmetic pack, which implies there will be further series cosmetic packs. So really, really just...
So there's something that I don't hate about this because I truly believe that they were not going to do this. And then eventually we're like, well, if anyone's still playing it that wants to buy the stuff that they don't want to grind out,
yeah,
here's the ability to do so. And I have no problem if you're like, I want my Doomslayer to look like this. I don't want to play 20 hours to make that happen. That's fine. But I could also see me being not upset about this, and then that being like the norm for video game companies, where it's like 6 months after microtransactions comes into play, which is still better than how most games launch with microtransactions. But I honestly do not think this was done in ill will. I do not think that they had any plans on including this stuff.
If there's anyone to be upset at, it's probably Bethesda. It's probably the publisher, honestly. But the simple fact that words don't mean anything anymore, that the developers, Ubisoft did the same thing where they were going to cut that their sexual assault thing into their press conference and never did. Like, companies come out and say factually, publicly, here's a statement, full stop, and then weeks, months later, that statement is proven false, and like nobody bats an eye. Nobody bats an eye, right? Am I offended that someone can buy a unicorn skin for their multiplayer in Doom? Of course not. Am I offended that the people who sell us these products got out there and lied to our faces? Yeah, a little bit.
Well, and it's like you'd love to see where it happened, right? Like Hugo's the creative director, and probably at a time he 100% believed what he was saying. But then it's like, are the publishers beholden to what Hugo
to that
says
point
about his game?
Companies, especially of this scale, have PR people. Like you know damn well as a company that you can't have something get out there if this was an indie team of 4 people or something, maybe that's excusable. With something as big as Bethesda, like, no, I don't.
But that's like, no, I agree with you, and that's what makes me think. That's what makes me think that they believed it at a time and they should not do it because they said they wouldn't. It's not that Hugo came out and said something that they intentionally thought. He was not going out there and being like, I'll just fucking tell him.
No.
Well, they can't prove it.
Someone made Hugo a liar, and that's bullshit.
Someone made Hugo a liar.
And it's that person that I am upset at. Very likely.
Hugo is too.
Yeah,
I hope Hugo fucking takes a chainsaw to them.
Rip and tear, Hugo.
Yeah.
Rip and tear. Konami says they're working on multiple games, but won't be at E3. Also, there's an E3 this year, June 13th. No one's going to be there. It's an online event. Microsoft isn't there. Sony's not there. Was there an E3
last year?
There was not last year, no.
Okay.
But they're doing an online one this year. Sorry for the fucking garbage truck or whatever is driving into my balcony. I don't think any of the big 3 are there. Like, I don't really know what E3's even going to look like this year. A lot of activations, a lot of athletes playing sports games, maybe. Multiple games. What could
Konami?
What do they have? Silent Hill, Metal Gear,
Bomberman.
They still have Bomberman? I thought Bomberman was Capcom.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
Let's see. Konami.
And I also, even if it was Capcom, maybe Nintendo owns it now. I have no.
Yeah, that might be right. Castlevania. That's the one I forgot. There's a new Castlevania anime, so a new game might make sense, or a final season of the anime rather. Contra, Dance Dance Revolution. Oh fuck! The time is now.
That's what the world needs right now. Yes.
Frogger. Somebody's working on a new Frogger game. That might be one of them. Metal Gear. A lot of these I don't recognize. Suikoden, Silent Hill, Robopawn. Oh, I thought that. I thought that said Roboporn when I started reading it, and got to the end and it was Pawn. Oh shit! They have the Yu-Gi-Oh license apparently. Yu-Gi-Oh video games, huh?
Sweet.
So maybe they're working on some of those. Wild.
Can only be 2. What's your 2?
It better not be Metal Gear. If Konami makes Death Stranding with Kojima wasn't all that. I don't know. Just let Metal Gear rot. Just leave it, please.
I mean, depending on how I wake up every day, sometimes it's the greatest game ever made.
If Konami had a teaser or something at E3 that was just a black screen with someone going, "Brother!" I would lose my fucking mind.
We would, like, emergency podcast.
Metal Gear 1. David Hayter, I don't remember if I talked about this on the show. David Hayter claims he heard a rumor that there was going to be a Metal Gear 1 remake, or is one in the works. And
sometimes I worry about what David Hayter will say to get anyone to pay attention.
I think we did talk about that on that show, because I think that's exactly what we said. He's trying to drum up some work or something. Oh man, Ni no Kuni 2 for the Switch has been leaked via ESRB rating. That'll be out sometime this year, apparently. Mario Party got an online mode 2 years after launch. That maybe should have been the leading story.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's super weird. I'm pulling the story here to see what's included.
I don't want to sound like a poo-pooer. Sometimes I can come off as a poo-pooer with Mario Party. That's the last way I want to play Mario Party.
Yeah,
and you better bet your ass I'm never going to own a copy of Mario Party, so it doesn't matter. But I want to play Mario Party with my friends and a bunch of beers in the same room so I can yell and scream at them. I mean, you can do all that online, but not very well on Nintendo.
I was going to say, I bet the online quality is on par with everything else they've ever done. Up to 4 people can play the classic Mario Party board game, or the team-based partner party with 70 of the Switch's 80 minigames available online, instead of the paltry 10 before, says this Engadget story.
It was paltry.
10. Very paltry. And my last story, Andrew, is that there's a new Apex hero. Tell me all about it. You guys could probably just leave after the first half of the show. I read the stories. Brando's the only one. It's because you had the whatever beat you had this week.
It's like I'm bringing a story too.
Yeah, I mean, and Brando is probably just as qualified to speak on Apex as I would be, but yeah, no, I'm very excited for that new season. It's probably What's the
new hero? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I can't. What the heck's her name again?
Valkyrie?
Fly chick.
Valkyrie.
Yeah. So I like that they're kind of bringing in more of a Titanfall aspect because she is the daughter of a very decorated Titan, and her father passed away when she was very young, but now she's more of like a rebel, so that's kind of why she's in the Apex world. She doesn't really follow like the military guidelines and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool that they're bringing kind of a Titan aspect to it. And yeah, she can fly, and her ult, she can redeploy, so she grabs all team members and you shoot up into the sky and just can redeploy to a different area on the map. Which is pretty swifty.
Does that like bring people back to life if you have their tag?
I don't know how that works. I think you could just like, if you're getting shit mixed, you can just pull yourself out of battle. I don't know if she can actually bring people back to life though.
That seems pretty cool.
But,
drop
yeah,
ship
even
yourself.
Just being able, like,
we do get shit mixed a lot.
Yeah, like if you're in a position where you're cornered by the circle, or especially on Olympus where there's some really weird spots you can get cornered and can't really get out of. That seems like a really good way just to get the frick out of battle if you got us. So I think that's a cool idea. And then also she has a grenade that essentially is like a sonar grenade. So you throw it and then it pulsates for 15 seconds in an area and reveals all enemies, which is neat. So she seems like a super dope character.
Yeah. Super unique as well.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, they've been pretty good with that stuff all the way up to this point, but she's the one that I've been most excited about because the flying thing it'll be really interesting to see how that kind of plays in and changes the game.
They also sorry, Andy.
I was gonna say, and then they're also, are you gonna say something about the hero, Berto? Because you can say that. I was just gonna start talking
we're gonna go to I was going the same way you were.
Sorry, are you sure she has a sonar grenade? According to this,
I'm pretty sure.
According to this story I'm reading, she has the jets as her passive, missile swarm as her tactical, fire swarm with 12 mini rockets in a rectangular grid, which damage and disorient the enemy, and then skydive is apparently her ultimate.
Oh damn! Maybe I'm stupid.
Press
I thought
once
that she had a grenade
for launch. Teammates can interact with Valkyrie to join the launch. Press again to launch into the air and skydive.
I'm fucking useless on this podcast. I can't even get one thing right.
Oh, that's okay.
I talk.
That's okay. I wasn't like giving you shit. Wasn't. I mean, I was correcting you, but you know.
We'll talk when it's over.
We'll talk after.
Yeah.
See me in my office.
So, anyways, that was a miss then. Whoops. But either way, she looks super dope.
Recon allows her to use her survey beacons to mark the location of the next circle on the map. That's probably what you were.
No, that's everyone. Everyone who.
Everyone
recon.
Oh, she's a recon class. Okay.
Yeah.
Every
recon
swarm.
character can do that. Well, that's all right. Either way, missiles sound doper, so I'll take that over the stupid grenade anyways.
Yeah, in a rectangular grid.
That seems dope. So she seems really cool, and now cooler that she has missiles and not a stupid ass dumb grenade, because who's tactical when you're playing that game? I want to blow people sky high. And then also too, they have a new weapon coming, which I'm excited about because I've been waiting for them to add one of these to the game since I was a huge fan of them in Destiny, even though everybody hated them and told me I can't play with them because they're not the meta. They're bringing a bow to Apex. So I'm really excited about that. And I watched a little bit of gameplay and it looks like it kind of plays and looks like it kind of operate like the handling of it looks like kind of very Destiny-esque, which is cool.
Andy's
And they have some
spirit
cool
animal is a bow and arrow.
And they have some cool hop ups for it too. Like there's one that you can get where it causes a spread and the bow will shoot like a shotgun. And then they have another one where it just shoots 3 arrows split, which seems really cool too. So
Is it slow?
it seems neat.
Is it like pew? Like, does the projectile
like
take
you
a
have
long
to-
time to get there?
There's
mean-
like a tight window from pullback. Like when you pull it back, there's like a perfect release or something. And I know that one of the abilities, if you are hitting that timing window, you can just shoot them like so fast, like
Is
a
that
fucking
like
machine
a laser
gun.
beam?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Actually, yeah, I'm stupid. I fucked up again. It's not the other
Okay,
hop up. The other hop up isn't an arrow split. It's what Brando described there, where if you are landing like quick shots, it doesn't go as far. I don't think. Like I don't think you can shoot it. It's not as accurate for long range, but you can pelt a guy close range if you're landing that timing right.
Turn that longbow into a short bow. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Cut the
the
ends
gambit
off like a
bow.
shotgun.
They had that gambit bow in Destiny where if you would get precision hits, the draw time would be reduced for a certain period of time. So that's probably kind of essentially the same thing.
Then there's also a new like arena mode where it is putting you in a small arena, which looks like they're just taken from different sections of the map, kind of, and putting you 3-on-3, just the two teams, 3-on-3.
Oh, weird.
And you get a certain amount of materials, and you're using that to buy guns.
That seems
and
cool.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it like-
it's a much more like team deathmatch style, and you can't. There are no reses. You can res but not respawn. So
Okay.
if a teammate is down, you can get them back up. But
I
once
might.
someone is killed, they're out.
As someone who doesn't love Apex, I might be in for some of that. My thing with Apex is I just don't get to shoot enough to get good at the shooting. But that sounds like it's all shooting. That sounds
It
like
seems
it's
like
just,
it would
let's just fucking
be-
go.
At least a better way to get good at the battle royale mode.
Yeah, the gun handling. That's my thing. I play so many different games and they all have a different handling model. Destiny is very different from Apex, is very different from whatever. It's just too hard.
Splatoon.
Just too Splatoon. The one true shooting model.
I have some more news.
Bring it.
Just a brief little hit with not a lot of information, but near and dear to my heart is that the Outer Wilds is going to have some DLC on the way. The name of it leaked on Steam. It is called Echo of the Eye, and everyone was like, "Is this real? Is this real?" And then Mobius, no,
Yep.
Annapurna
Oh.
put a picture of put the emoji of an eye, a little eyeball,
Mm.
and then Annapurna or Mobius quote tweeted it and did the little like lookies
Oh, an
like
echo.
hey,
and a little tweet.
2 eyes, and also the
Oh.
emoji that means what the fuck you guys talking about? My ears is burning.
Kev, you ever play Outer Worlds?
No.
Time has
Wilds.
never been better.
You guys were talking that one up quite a bit. I seem to remember.
Yeah, hell of a
I
game.
might call it the game of the year and one of the best games of the decade.
Yeah, I would definitely call it one of the best games of the decade for sure. It's great. That is so exciting. I can't believe I forgot that news. It is truly one of my favorite games, and I wonder what the DLC is going to be. In my head, it's such a perfect little thing that like
I know.
Don't ever
and there
touch
was
it.
a time when I wrapped that game where I would have been like, don't ever make a sequel, don't ever make DLC. But I still can't
Yeah.
help
I
but
could
be
see
tremendously excited.
you go with some new planets or something, maybe, you know? Maybe some new gimmicks for new planets. I don't know.
And it's like, is it going to be the kind of, without getting into the spoilers of Outer Wilds, because I want people to play that game and I would never spoil it for them. Is it going to be something that takes place after the end of the game, or is it going to be something that bolts on to the entire experience and will be accessible from Jump Street?
Yeah, I wonder.
Because those narratively would have to be very different DLCs if it's after the end of the game versus accessible right from the beginning.
I sort of hope that the DLC comes out, you download it, you launch the game, and it seems like nothing is different. You can't tell if anything's different.
You have to go find it.
Yeah, it's probably or like just a new planetoid shows up or something. That'd be
Mhm.
dope. I would lose my fucking shit.
Fuck, the moon. I still remember the first time I fucking figured out the moon.
Yeah, me too. Man, what a that whole game is just like watershed moment after watershed moment.
Mhm.
Oh, can't say enough good stuff. You at home should go play Outer Worlds. It's on Game Pass.
Wilds.
Wilds. No, Wilds. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
I did that twice. Yeah. Worlds is the Fallout like.
Mhm.
I think that's it. Podcast at talkingmercless.com is an email address if you want to write into the show here. No electronic M's this week. We are good. You can also drop us voicemails over on our Discord if you want, which you should probably join anyways. We got all sorts of stuff. We have an anime club. We have a film club. What is the film club watching this week?
We're watching Zodiac on Saturday, one of the premier films of all time.
I'm coming for that. I've never seen Zodiac.
That's a fucking good one. Probably David Fincher's best movie. But maybe Social Network.
See it on Netflix all the time, and I'm like, well, they never caught the killer. I know how this ends. No thanks. And just breeze right past it.
No.
But join our
it's
Discord.
Tremendous. And it's got the Hulk and Iron Man and who am I missing?
Cap.
No, the Mr. Strange, not Doctor Strange, the Spider-Man guy. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, okay. Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yes, Mr. Strange.
We got
Mr.
there.
Strange. Mr. Governor. Governor Weird. The first time I watched that movie after I made my way through the MCU and they were all just like fucking hanging out and I'm like, this is fucking weird. This guy's got baggage now.
That is weird. You can find all that if you go to the website, talkingreckless.com, and there's a Discord tab there you can click and join. Lots of good stuff. We have a Valheim server as well if you want to check that out, where they have installed some... I was supposed to tell you what some new mods, but I don't remember what Kyle told me. Epic Loot mod and flying. I think he talked about it a little bit when he was on last. But all that stuff is up there, so go check it out. Valheim's very cool. Also, check out the Patreon over at patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast, where you can find a higher quality, sometimes longer, sometimes a little extra Tron chat. Usually, well, recently it's been about kind of Marvel stuff, just because that's sort of what's been going on. But, you know, we tell stories about crimes and drugs, and, there's hours of us admitting to things we probably shouldn't on the internet up there for you.
I guess we could have talked about Invincible. But we didn't.
I'm only 2 episodes in. I gotta get on that. Yeah, I gotta get going. Everybody should also watch Invincible. It's a dope show about superheroes on Amazon Prime.
Andy, you'd like that one.
Yeah, reminds me a little. It seems like it's kind of like Boys-esque, where what if superheroes were real? Here's maybe what it would be like. Yeah, go check all that out. TalkingReckless.com or Weebs.ca. Head on over to the Patreon. Thank you very much to the good brother Kevin Byer.
Matthew, thank you.
Thank you very much to Frowny Andy. He's got a big scowl on his face if you're watching the video right now.
I think I will shoot him back.
Thanks,
I was
Andy.
looking at
And to
the,
you too, Brando. Thanks.
At the show. I was supposed to watch.
Oh, Invincible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
You can use my Prime, Andy.
Yeah, he can also use my Prime. We'll talk. Who did... Brandon Lynch, thanks as well for being here.
You're welcome, Matthew.
And you... Thanks, Governor Weird. Always great to hear from you. And you at home, thanks so much for listening or watching. Would love for you to rate and review this podcast wherever you listen to them. I think we're a 5-star podcast. Hopefully you do too. And we'll see you here. Brandon's giving the hand signal. We'll see you here on the next episode of the Talking Reckless podcast. We'll see you then.